Hey everyone, welcome to another Espresso. I want to talk about a lot of interesting posts around at the moment, and this is on the work from home vibe. And I wanted to read a few posts here. Well, one post. There's an interesting one around work from home. Is quite literally the worst thing that could ever happen to anyone. And so this person puts forward some interesting perspectives, which I have heard a lot, many times from many different people. And it's interesting, both from people that are on teams and also people that are in the workforce and just talking generally about work from home. And it's really interesting. And this person's like, do not let work from home ruin your life and career. And they put forward the perspective that it can ruin your career completely. Not visible in the workplace, not improving your work-related skills, not learning from senior people if you're younger in your career, earlier on in your career. You're not learning how to navigate and operate within a company. Basically, your value to a business has completely stalled. You're never going to get promoted. Your job has become nothing more than hourly output per pound equation. And this might suit you if you're in the later part of your career and you want a bit better work-life balance. But if you're in your 20s and 30s, work from home is literally the absolute death of your career. It can be absolutely devastating for your personal development as a human being. You're not going to spend time around people. You'll lose the ability to connect and interact with people and to learn from them. It will cause you to be increasingly isolated and introvert, and this person says probably gain weight because you're not moving around so much. So good for the pharmaceutical companies who want to sell you all kind of weight loss drugs and antidepressants, but it's terrible for you as an individual. Wow, that's crazy stuff right there. And some of it's probably true, some of it probably not. I think it depends. There are some companies where there's an extreme, right? There's somewhere you need to go in, there's some where they're fully remote, and there's a whole raft in between. And so I think, that perspective that I shared is clearly like quite extreme. But if you look at each bit, I think the learning's interesting. And I've heard this from a lot of younger folks and also managers that are trying to develop their team. When they're not seeing them in person, people struggle with the learning. It's a challenge for sure. Like when you're with someone, for me, like early on in my career, I learned so much from sitting and listening to someone, like just sitting next to them, going to meetings with someone, learning how to behave, how to interact in a business scenario, like learning how to work. It's different. It's really different at home, right? When you're sitting at home, your boss is somewhere else. It's much more challenging. You're not like learning what to do or what not to do in some cases, right? Just watching someone like operate, someone like excellent, like just someone at the top of their game, how they're operating, how they're working, how they're organizing themselves, how they're interacting with people. You do miss that. You miss that from being at home. So the learning has to be way more thoughtful and considered and intentional. So if you're operating in a fully remote environment or flexible working when you're in some days and not, as an individual, like be proactive with your learning, like seek learning opportunities and organize conversations with people that you really regard in your firm and all of that stuff. Super important. The onus is a little bit more on you as the individual. Like go seek out those learning opportunities. If you're a manager and you've got a team and they're all over the place and they're at different stages of their development and you don't see them very much, you've got to be on it with the learning and development and really intentional about it, because they're not sitting next to you and listening to you. And we have that. We are a fully remote firm. We have people at different stages of their career. And I have to be way more thoughtful and intentional about learning opportunities than I would have to do if I was in an office, probably. Although it's still great. But, just we're fully remote. People are all over the place. We've got to be really thoughtful and intentional about it. And we have been, and we're trying to be better, and we're trying to do more stuff. And it's really important. So that's the learning. Promotion is interesting. This has been something that I've heard since before COVID, is if you're not present sitting next to your boss, but your team member is, who do you think the manager is going to promote? Now, we'd like to think the person that's like producing the best. Maybe that's not always the case. This is the perspective that some people put forward, and you get passed over for promotion. That your boss and the other teammate have become really good friends because they're sitting next to each other. They're sharing like private jokes. They've got some shared experiences and stuff. Maybe your manager hasn't been so great at organizing digital stuff and including you in all of these things. So you're missing out on that. So when it comes for promotion, even though you've been like the best, performed the best, there's this human thing of like, maybe you get passed over. Maybe not, but maybe. And you might feel you're getting passed over. Maybe you haven't done. You may feel that you're better than your team member, and your team member got the promotion and you didn't. So you can write it down to whatever. So, but there is that. And so I think companies need to make sure they're measuring for output, for sure. And managers need to because we're human, try and remove any bias that they might have because they sit next to this person. So that might happen. And also I think Dell, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Dell have said that you won't be promoted unless you come back to an office. So that's quite interesting as well. Just to sum up a little thing around this, that if you're younger, earlier on in your career, 20s and 30s, it's a time to learn. And whatever environment you find yourself in, seek out the learning opportunities. I think if you join a firm where there's an office and people go to it, so much value in you going in. Really is. I think so much value, as long as your teammates are going in and your manager's going in. You just collect experience, learn. Incredible. That's what I did early on in my career. It was brilliant. I learned how to work. I learned what to do, what not to do. I tried to mirror the behavior of the successful folks and incorporate it into my game and keep going and evolving and things like that. But if you're in a fully remote, other extreme, if you're a fully remote vibe, then again, there's people in your firm. It's digital. It's different. You need to be more thoughtful and intentional about the learning, and go hard on that. Arrange regular catch-ups with the people in your organization that you look up to. Look for internal mentors, look for external mentors, speak to your team leader regularly, etc., like peers. Really, really build those interactions. Although they're not like in person, they're virtual in person, and it's still good. And you should try and do it as much as you can. Don't just sit back at home, no interaction. You're going to miss out on stuff. So you need to be really intentional and proactive, and you need to get all in on that. It's really important. So that's what I would do. There's many different companies that are arriving at many different things. Some people like fully remote. Some people like flexible. Some people like going in. Businesses ultimately are going to be doing what's right for them. People are going to choose whether they want to be in that environment or not. There's a lot of folks that are not happy about being pulled back into an office for whatever reason. There was a study done by LinkedIn and Microsoft recently. In the US, it was like 80-something% of people want to move jobs right now. One of the reasons was this work-life integration. Globally, it's like 45%. So there's a thing, people are really thinking about what's best for them. So if you want to do well in your career and you want to progress up the tree, love a crab career, you never know. Many paths to where you might want to get to. But there's many aspects, right? So it's there's money, there's your energy, there's your time, there's many aspects that go into building a successful life and career, whatever that means for you. So either way, Go all in. Go really hard. Put the work in wherever you are, whether you're going in, whether you're working from home, whether it's mixture, whether it's fully remote, whatever it is. Take ownership, be the CEO of your career, have great people around you, seek out learning opportunities wherever they might come from, and go hard. Go really hard, and you'll move in the direction you want to move in. And yeah, that's what I would say. So to this person that wrote that thing, yeah, like I think there's no one size fits all. I think there's probably good things and bad things with all the different working scenarios. But I think as an individual, you can do things that are in your circle of control, which is find the environment that works for you, go seek it out, and then go hard, put effort in, turn up on time. I call it a great ground game. Like, turn up on time, put effort in, seek out learning opportunities, do the best you can, learn, keep moving forward, one step in front of the other. All of those things. That's what you can control. And there's a few things outside of your circle of control that you can't control. But do what you can. Do what you can. It's important. And I hope that helps. Love to hear your thoughts and comments. Please follow us on all of the platforms. The Recruitment Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff. And share your thoughts.